recreating Man Utd's treble winning season, or doing even better. The challenge has been set. Take control of Manchester United using the Mad Scientist 98-99 retro database for FM23, and try to emulate one of modern football's greatest achievements, winning the treble. We are of course talking here about one of the greatest Manchester United teams of all time. Sir Alex at the peak of his managerial powers, although that knighthood might have to wait as he's had to step aside for me. Schmeichel, Keane, Giggs and Cole all established in the team. Scholes, Beckham, but the Neville Brothers, the class of 92, now class in 98. And the summer editions of Jaap, Stam and Dwight Yorke. And who could forget the future manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I'm going to attempt this with no further transfers, just that original squad, using of course a 4-4-2 counter-attacking tactic. And I'm going to go for that one that got away, the League Cup. All signs in the season opening Charity Shield pointed towards a wild season ahead. United lost this one to Arsenal of course in real life, but here Dwight Yorke announced himself in style, bagging 5 goals in a 6-2 win. I guess that counts as trophy number 1. After that Charity Shield triumph, we move into our Premier League campaign, and I've got to say, Dwight Yorke is immense in this database, showing that the 5-goal haul against Arsenal in that Charity Shield match was no fluke. He bagged 5 more in an opening day 9-0 thrashing of Middlesbrough, and he would go on to score in every single league match we played in August. And yeah, I'm not sure what went wrong in the West Ham match either. That result aside, the league was off to a free-scoring start, and we would turn our attention to Europe. In the Champions League group stage draw, we got Dynamo Kiev, with a young Andrei Shevchenko leading the line, Czech champion Sparta Prague, also with a young star in the making, Thomas Rosicky, and Real Madrid. This is going to be fun. Quite the squad Real have at this point. Fernando Hierro, just before he would reach his career peak at Bolton. Fernando Redondo, one of those players who was a go-to signing for me back in the Championship manager era. Roberto Carlos, in his prime, the original marauding wingback. And a 21-year-old future Champions League legend, Guti. No, sorry, clicked the wrong player. I mean Raul. First up, a home tie with Kiev, who had a clear plan, taking out Dwight Yorke early on, leaving him out of action for 3 weeks. Luckily, we had the perfect super sub, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whose 2 second-half goals made Shevchenko's late strike meaningless. It was also Solskjaer who would lead the line as we thrashed Sparta Prague away to set up a massive European clash against Real Madrid. Yorke was back, but it was Solskjaer who would give us the lead at the Bernabeu, with Blomqvist doubling the lead. Unfortunately, our defence would then give it to the next person, as Real staged a comeback with a brace from Morientes and a goal from Mijatovic, but it would be us who got the comeback, as a fit-again Yorke ran through on the hour mark and got us the 3-3 draw. So after that close call, we decided to humiliate Real in the return match, which we did by having Phil Neville score the only goal of the game. A 4-0 win over Sparta Prague in the next game guaranteed us qualification for the next round and first place in the group, and a heavily rotated squad would lose our final match 1-0 away to Kiev. And oh, would you look at that, that win meant Dynamo Kiev pipped Real Madrid to second place. Deliberate? Well, maybe. I mean, we will stop at nothing to achieve our goal. While the Champions League group stage was taking place, we continued to dominate the league. Chelsea, the only team able to take points off us, and North London getting humiliated, not once, but twice. That is 16 goals against Arsenal now in 2 meetings this season. Late 90s Wenger must be in a water bottle frenzy. Things did slow down as winter arrived, as we struggled to a narrow win over the Crazy Gang, and had our first 0-0 of the season away to Liverpool, either side of that Champions League defeat to Dynamo Kiev. The days after that goalless draw, we returned to Anfield for a League Cup tie, and won it 2-0. We would be back to Merseyside in the next round as we humiliated Everton 7-1. Solskjaer the man of the moment, as he bagged 4 goals in a dominant counter-attacking display, with Dwight Yorke and Andy Cole also getting on the score sheet. Another away trip in the quarter-final and a potentially tough one against Newcastle, but another good result with Yorke, Scholes and Solskjaer getting the goals in a 3-1 win. Now the League Cup was of course the one that got away in real life, so for the first leg against Wimbledon, we put out a full-strength team and drew 1-1. Not to worry though, as we turned on the style in the second leg for a massive 8-4 aggregate win, setting up a final with Blackburn. Beckham was suspended for this one though, so we had to put our faith in Phil Mulrin on the right side of midfield. And it worked as he scored the opener, with Solskjaer making sure of things in the second half, before Roy Keane did some Roy Keane things and got himself sent off, before we were handed our second trophy of the season, meaning at this stage we're currently doing better than Sir Alex ever did. Now with all all our on-field success so far, you might be thinking, this is easy, especially when you see how we terrorised the football clubs of the East Midlands and walked to victory in one of the most one-sided rivalries in English football. However, I guess I got a bit cocky as we faced Arsenal for the third time this season, just doing a quick pick and heading off to the kitchen for a snack while the match played. That was not a result I was expecting. Having humiliated Everton 7-1 in the League Cup in December, come January we would need a late Ryan Giggs goal to beat them in the FA Cup third round. But I suppose last-minute winners is in keeping with the spirit of the treble-winning team. And then the biggest wobble of the lot as we faced Grimsby in the FA Cup fourth round, and were held to a 2-2 draw. And an extra cup game was something we really didn't need in our already crowded schedule. Because great a team as this late 90s Man United side was, we were really beginning to feel the lack of depth beyond the core starting 11. I mean, sure, we were able to rotate between Yorke and Andy Cole and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer up front, and in addition to Roy Keane and Paul Scholes in midfield, we had Nicky Butt as a more than capable backup. There was no real long-term cover if anything happened to Beckham on the right side of midfield. Ditto on the left for Giggs, and with Wes Brown out with a long-term injury, cover in defence was also thin. To make things worse, our rivals started taking advantage of the 98-99 database in the January transfer window, with Arsenal signing Rio Ferdinand, Chelsea snapping up Buffon as their new keeper, and our main title challengers by this point, Liverpool, bringing in Zeroberto, Sasa Ilic, and the biggest coup of the January transfer window, Figo. We did, though, get back on track with a big win in that FA Cup fourth round replay, and then just a few days after we beat them in the League Cup final, we faced Blackburn again in the FA Cup. Solskjaer the cup hero once again, as he netted 4 goals in a 4-2 win to set up a quarter-final with Division 1 leaders Norwich. But despite their league form, the Canaries were no match for us as we racked up another 4-2 win. And those East Midlands teams once again rolled over for us as we recaptured some league form, which would be all important as we prepared for a huge Champions League clash with Barcelona. So unlike the actual 98-99 season, there is actually a round of 16 to negotiate in the Champions League, with a trip to the Camp Nou always a daunting prospect. We would be up against a team containing the likes of Nadal, well, Angel Nadal that is, Rafa's uncle I believe, the Brazilian maestro Rivaldo, playmaker and future manager Luis Enrique, Patrick Kluivert in the form of his career, and future Manchester United managerial nemesis Pep Guardiola, making an already tough task even tougher. And sure enough, Kluivert opened the scoring after just 5 minutes with a little bit of help from the post, and Rivaldo set up Luis Enrique for number 2 just after the quarter-hour mark, and in the end we did well just to keep the scoreline down to 2-0. That made the return leg one of those massive European nights, and we rose to the occasion with Solskjaer and Dwight Yorke giving us exactly what we needed, 2 early goals. Solskjaer then gave us the aggregate lead before half-time, before Roy Keane made it certain in the second half, and our baby-faced assassin completed his hat-trick to put the icing on the cake in a massive win. The quarterfinals paired us up with Juventus. We couldn't quite recreate the magic of that night in Turin as we went down 2-1 in the first leg. We did, however, channel that comeback spirit in the home leg with goals in the last 10 minutes from Blomqvist and Dwight Yorke squeezing us into the semi-finals. It would be Roma next, and a similar story emerged as Totti scored the only goal at the Stadio Olimpico, but Cole levelled the tie at Old Trafford before Giggs and Yorke struck late on to grab us a 3-1 aggregate win. Between the Juventus and Roma matches, we played Leeds in the FA Cup semi-final, and on this occasion, Solskjaer took the day off, as Andy Cole was the hat-trick hero, with a penalty for his third, and then turning provider for Yorke to round off a 4-0 win. With the big wins still coming in the league, we are perfectly positioned for the treble, but an interesting rival has emerged. Liverpool are breathing down our necks in the league, and are the only team to defeat us in the Premier League since Arsenal. They will also be our FA Cup final opponents, and after a comeback win over Inter in the semi-final, our Champions League final opponents as well. So we're now down to the business end of the season. Yorke and Solskjaer dominating the Premier League scoring charts, Giggs and Beckham racking up the assists, but Liverpool have their own inform attackers. Michael Owen with 55 goals to his name in all competitions, Robbie Fowler with 37, and January signing Luis Figo guiding them through some tough European games. After defeat to Liverpool, we would win our next 5 league games in a row, whereas Liverpool would crucially drop points against Villa and Wimbledon, meaning we would get a second opportunity to win a trophy this season whilst playing Blackburn. Roy Keane picked up where he left off in the League Cup final, but even with 10 men, we were too hot. We were in too much good form for Rovers, as Solskjaer netted a brace, and we secured the league title with 2 games to spare. So that's it. Treble won. See you later. Whoa, oh, you want the actual treble, like the Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League treble? Right, FA Cup final time it is then. No Armani suits in this recreation, and no action in the first half as a tensely poised game stayed 0-0. Yorke was anonymous, so we brought on Solskjaer, who immediately linked up with Giggs, and penalty! No! Giggs! Yes! Owen then had a glorious chance to force extra time, but blew it big time, as we held high the famous trophy. The in-game media lauded our quadruple pure domestic dominance, but can we win the big one? The Champions League final. Let's find out together. Alright then, so let's see if we can complete this treble live here with you right now. Of course, I'm recording this ahead of time, but you know what I mean. Okay, first highlight, and it's Roberto, who, oh no, he scored! How did that go in? I thought Schmeichel was going to get to that, but Roberto shouldn't even be in this Liverpool team. He never signed for them. He just pings one in. Look at that. Oh, dearie me, Schmeichel. Got to be a question mark over him there. Not the best of starts. But Liverpool, of course, they'll be smarting from the FA Cup final defeat just 1 week ago and finishing second best to us in the league. And the FA Cup final we had to play in our away kit, and here we do as well. Hardly fair, is it? But it's been a long, hard season. The players are tiring, of course, but, you know, we've just got to find that little bit in the tank. Beckham is through now. Beckham, he goes down for a penalty. Staunton tripped him. Come on, Stonewall penalty ref. Come on, VAR. We know what the decision's got to be here. Come on. There was no VAR in those days, of course, but we're just going to have to roll with it. Penalty awarded. Fantastic. All right, a perfect chance to level up here. Dwight Yorke, come on. Sends the keeper the wrong way. Get in. We're back in this. All right, we're nearly up to half-time. Michael Owen, he's got behind the defence, and oh my God, where did that goal come from? Out of nowhere, but wait, was it offside? The referee's got his back turned to the play, but disallowed. Fantastic stuff, ref. What a referee this is. Gave us the penalty and disallowed this one. It was, yeah, Bab took the free kick. Marginal at best, we have to say. Owen ran onto it. That was where he was at his best, of course, before his injuries. But now, ooh, could there be a late twist in this half? We've got the chance here. Neville picks the ball up. Come on, Neville. Fire in the cross. He does. Oh, we couldn't find Yorke. Oh, now we've got to watch out for Liverpool on the break. Roberto, what are you even doing here? Michael Owen is through, and he scored. This time, there's no way that's going to be disallowed. Oh, we thought that was going to end with injury time goal for United, but no, it's Liverpool instead. All right, dramatic stuff. Come on, boys. We're playing our rivals here. This is like the biggest game ever in the history of the Manchester United-Liverpool rivalry. See, now Solskjaer's not doing it today. It was Yorke who wasn't doing the business in the FA Cup final, and we took him off, so we're going to take Solskjaer off. We're going to put Andy Cole on. I mean, Andy Cole, what a great player to have on the bench. All right, so I initially left Scholes on the bench because he'd just come off a little injury tweak, so we're putting him back in, but was looking like he's going to get booked apparently, so let's get him out of there. Scholes and Cole, two great players to bring on and turn this final in our favour. But we get a Liverpool highlight first and a Liverpool goal. Rigobert Song, bloody hell. Oh no, we're 2 goals down and we're into the final 10 minutes and it's just Liverpool coming at us again. It's Robbie Fowler. Oh my God. Okay, a second goal disallowed. Thankfully, there's a slim chance. There's a slim chance that we can still do this. I don't hold out much hope though. But here we go. If we're going to get back in this, we need to do it now. Come on, Keane. Come on, Keane. He's on a yellow. We've got to watch out for that. But Keane takes it wide. Can he find someone? Stam pushing up. Yes, it goes out to Giggs to Cole. Cole's hit the post. Oh my God. He hit the post. I don't believe it. All right, time to throw everything at it. Never mind the 90s tactics. We're going to push up high. We're going to go shoot on sight. We're going to go 4-1-3-2. And let's send Schmeichel up for the corners as well. Hopefully that does something for us, or are we just going to get 0 highlights for the rest of the game? Here we go. Jaap, Stam. Keane dropping deep. Plays the long ball over the top, looking for Cole. Oh, it doesn't work for us, and now there's a Liverpool counter-attack. Is Owen going to seal the deal here? Yes, he is. It's humiliation. And yeah, this is my first time on FM23 watching the whole official UEFA presentation, and it's bloody Liverpool have just beaten Man United for it. So after all that, all those massive wins in the league, getting the clean sweep domestically, we throw it all away in the final match. But well, I'm going to leave the Manchester United team back there in May of 1999. If you want to have a playthrough on the 98-99 database, check out this video to see how to install everything.